Mr. Mayor, we're now live.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Just read the acknowledgement. Due to COVID-19 emergency declaration, this meeting of Ajax Council is being held electronically and live streamed on the town's website. All members of council in attendance are participating by audio and video teleconference, and senior town staff are available throughout the meeting if council members have any questions on the agenda. For members of the public watching from home, please bear with us if we encounter any technical difficulties throughout the meeting. I'll now call this meeting to order. I'd like to begin this meeting by acknowledging that the land on which we gather is situated within the traditional and treaty territory of the Mississaugas of Scugog Island and the Chippewas of the Anishinaabe, known today as the Williams Treaties First Nations. This place is and will continue to be home to Indigenous peoples. Let us move forward together with kindness and respect. Does any member of council have any pecuniary interest in tonight's agenda? Hearing none, I have authority to hold a closed meeting and related in-camera session, moved by Councilor Tyler Moore and seconded by Councilor Bauer. The council convene to a closed session pursuant to section 239, paragraph 2, paragraph K of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended to discuss a position, plan, procedure, criteria, or instruction to be applied to any negotiation carried on or to be carried on by or on behalf of the municipality or local board. Those in favor of going in camera?
In favor.
Seeing all hands, that's carried. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, we're now live.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. I need a mover and a seconder to ratify the actions taken in closed session, which is none. Can we get a mover and a seconder, please?
Mover.
Moved by Councillor Khan, second by Councillor Bauer. That all directions approved in the closed session be ratified. Any questions? Those in favor? And none opposed. That's carried. Now, Mr. Clerk, I do have a motion to introduce. I just want to confirm that since the motion is based on our in-camera discussions, it does not require 2/3?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, that's correct. The motion is related to the subject for which this meeting was called.
Thank you. I will now turn the chair over to Councillor Dies, please, and I will read the motion.
Go ahead, Mayor Collier. Thank you.
Thank you. Moved by myself, second by Councillor Crawford, and I will read it because it hasn't been published. Whereas in May 2020, this is to do with the position of Ajax Council on the Durham Live Minister Zoning Order request. Whereas in May 2020, the City of Pickering, on behalf of Pickering Developments Inc., sent a letter to the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing requesting a Minister's Zoning Order to accelerate and expand the Durham Live development. And whereas the region of Durham and the town of Ajax identified a number of concerns with the proposed MZO, including sewer and sanitary capacity, future traffic impacts, required road infrastructure, environmental issues, and lack of conditions, among other matters. Sorry, before I continue, did I say who the mover and seconder were?
Yes.
Okay,
Sure.
thank you. And whereas, should the province of Ontario support the MZO request, the region and town propose that all parties undertake good faith negotiations to enter into an agreement with the developer to complete a transportation study and water and sewer study that would necessitate the development of the construction of exclusive and non-exclusive works that would correspond with the phasing of development. And whereas on September 30th, members of Regional Council authorized the region's Chief Administration Officer to execute an agreement between the Region of Durham, the owner of Durham Live Land, and the impacted municipalities, including the town of Ajax, in support of the Minister's Zoning Order in exchange for certain commitments. And whereas, after the town entered into good faith negotiations with all parties on October 20th, Pickering Council took purposeful action to eliminate the town as a party to the development agreement for the MZO. And now therefore be it resolved that in the absence of good faith negotiations and a development agreement that protects the interest of all parties, including neighboring Ajax taxpayers, Ajax Council opposes the Minister's Zoning Order for the Durham Live lands and requests that Minister Steve Clark not enact a Minister's Zoning Order for Durham Live. And that this motion, thank you, and that this motion be circulated to Premier Doug Ford, Honorable Steve Clark, Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, Honorable Rod Phillips, Minister of Finance, Honorable Peter Bethlenfalvy, President of the Treasury Board, Durham Regional, MPPs, the Region of Durham, and all regional lower tier municipalities. And I will just speak to it, please, Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
To say that I'm extremely disappointed to have to bring this motion forward is an enormous understatement. I ran in the last election. One of the pillars of my platform was to rebuild relationships with our neighbors and to move forward collaboratively. And that's what we've been trying to do. Since this Minister's Zoning Order came out 4 months ago at this request, we have had countless meetings with, long before that, since I first spoke as mayor, I've had many meetings with Mayor Ryan, the Pickering CAO, Tony Prevedel, now Marissa, Pickering planning staff, regional planning staff, our planning staff, our CAO, myself, many meetings, and the developer, Steve Apostolopoulos, Durham Live, about the existing concerns that Ajax has had ever since the Durham Live proposal first was brought onto the scene. We have worked tirelessly to try and find solutions to the traffic issues that we know are going to happen in Pickering Village and on Bailey and over to Westney getting on the 401. And we had not made any headway in getting any concessions to help us with our traffic concerns. In August last year, Pickering held an illegal Committee of Adjustment meeting and passed a minor variance to reduce the trip count on those lands. Why I say illegal, and I'm not pulling any punches here anymore, because the time to develop relationships is done. And we have negotiated in good faith, and I don't feel that's been returned. 2 illegal minor variance applications, one to lower the trip count in August and one to change the parking and I believe the building envelope in September. Why I say these were illegal, as we, Town of Ajax, as adjacent landowners, were not invited to participate in these Committee of Adjustment requests as is stipulated by the Planning Act. And we didn't find out about them until after the 90-day period for appeal, which means they're set in stone, and our only recourse was through the courts, which we did not do because I was still trying very hard to maintain this relationship and move us forward. Then came the minister's zoning order request. And again, we're back at the table and we have worked tirelessly to try and make this happen. We've gone many meetings, and I thought we were actually making some significant progress. And as it says in the motion on September 30th, we actually passed at the region of Durham. All of regional council, I believe, supported this. I think I'm not sure it was unanimous, but it was pretty near unanimous that we enter into this development agreement to protect our concerns. And let me be clear, there is no benefit to the town of Ajax for the minister's zoning order on these lands to convert a provincially significant wetland to up to 4 million square feet of commercial development and allow the development of, I believe it's 1,650 residential units. This site was promoted to be a tourist attraction and supposed to produce 10,000 jobs and all sorts of other benefits, and was supposed to have been great for the region. Why can't this proceed without the MZO? I don't know. Nobody's explained that to me yet, but I've asked them many times. But apparently they need this. But the bottom line is there is no benefit whatsoever to the town of Ajax for this development. And all we were asking was to protect, through this development agreement, the potential traffic problems that could come out of it. Last Tuesday, after the region passed this on September 30th, and there were supposed to be 4 parties to this agreement: the developer, Durham Live, Pickering, City of Pickering, the region of Durham, and the town of Ajax. Last Tuesday, 2 days ago, Pickering Council called a closed meeting. And at that meeting, I understand, passed a resolution removing the town of Ajax from any further negotiations. All the work we've done, all the good faith that we put towards this, and the progress we've made is gone. We have not passed a motion like this opposing the MZO all the way through, even though we really wanted to many months ago, because we were negotiating in good faith. But that is now gone. When Pickering removed us from the negotiation and basically threw away all our good faith work, now is the time for us to be making this statement and taking this position. I spoke with Ministers Bethlen Falvey and Phillips last night and told them I'd call a special meeting, told them what had happened with Pickering. I understand that there was discussions today with Mayor Ryan from Pickering. We heard nothing today. So as far as I'm concerned, things are over and done and we're moving forward. It's my position, and hopefully Ajax's position, that we oppose this MZO request. It is completely bypassing the planning process, is completely bypassing the municipal comprehensive review process. These lands have an active application at the region of Durham right now in the current MZO process. Sorry, MCR process. And that's going to take 2 years to do it properly. And during that 2 years, the region will look at all these traffic issues and everything else. And that is the process that this should take. It boggles my mind that any ministry, especially the Ministry of Natural Resources, would even consider rezoning a provincially significant wetland to allow commercial development. And I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but I hope that this resolution on behalf of the town of Ajax makes them think twice about it, because it's a huge mistake. So I won't say anything more about it other than, again, I am extremely disappointed. I'm extremely frustrated that it has come to this, but this is not our doing. We have worked and stayed at the table all the way through. Pickering pulled the plug on Tuesday, and this is what we have to do at this point. So I would ask for your support on this, please. And Mr. Clerk, I would like to ask for a recorded vote. Thank you.
Regional Councillor Crawford, did you want to make some comments on this?
I better not.
Okay. Regional Councillor Lee?
Thank you, Chair. I think the mayor covered a lot of the position of Ajax. I'm very much going to support this. I supported this very action months ago because I think it's very unfair to negotiate with a sword hanging over your head. And that's what this MZO was. As the mayor stated, we had begun negotiations with Pickering. My first day on council, we already were briefed on the negotiations with Pickering, the traffic implications that Durham Live would have, and how these traffic implications would directly impact Ajax more so than it would benefit Pickering. I understand the province wants to cut the red tape, wants to make these kind of applications a lot faster. That's why the MZOs available. But unlike other MZOs, this is one that directly negatively impacts Ajax and positively impacts Pickering. So, they have a choice to not approve this and allow negotiations to continue, or they can completely ignore the needs of Ajax residents and the will of Ajax Council and just do it anyways. And I truly, truly hope that, Mr. Phillips, Minister Bethan Falvey, Premier Ford, Minister Clark, they see that we are absolutely opposed to this because we're the ones that are going to see the direct implications of the traffic. Our residents are the ones who are going to be hurt by this, not the Pickering residents. And we fully disapprove of the way negotiations have been held thus far. So like I said, I'm looking forward to support this. And I implore Minister Clark to not sign that MZO. We can still negotiate in good faith as we have thus far, as long as other parties are willing to come to the table. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Councillor Crawford?
Sorry, I did change my mind. This is my ward. I need to say something. I can't put into words strong enough how disappointed I am with the city of Pickering. The fact that they are shutting down the negotiations. This is the second MZO that they have issued on areas of Ajax. And I don't believe the MZOs were ever meant to be used as a club to club another municipality's head. And that is exactly what these two MZOs have been, are giant clubs to the town of Ajax. And so I cannot tell you how much I support this motion tonight, and I will continue to support this motion regardless of what happens in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions or comments from members of council? Okay, I'm not seeing anybody. Can you speak up if you have a question, please?
I do, Chair. It's
Thank you,
Councillor Bauer.
Councillor Bauer. Thank you. Go
Thank
ahead.
you. Thank you. I just would like to say thank you to the mayor and to Regional Councillor Crawford for bringing forth this motion. I think it's despicable. I think this is months and months and months of good faith negotiations on the part of Ajax and the staff, and what seemed to be going in the right direction. Regional Councillor Crawford said it perfectly. We got hit over the head. We were blindsided, I believe. I think it was dirty rotten Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. It really does send that message that Pickering doesn't care about being our neighbor. And it's very, very, very disheartening and very disappointing. And it will be the town of Ajax who pays the price for this. So I'm glad we're sending a loud message that we do not support the MZO. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments? Well, seeing none, I would just like to make one. First of all, again, thank you very much to staff and to the CEO and the mayor who've worked very hard on trying to reach some sort of negotiation on the concerns that Ajax has with the development on the Durham Live lands. And, you know, it's been a long, long negotiation, a lot of talking and you know, a lot of, I guess, determination to stand up for what we felt that was right, because we know that the impact of the casino is mainly on the village, and it's about traffic. And that is going to, with an MZO, it's going to exacerbate the problem even more so. And these issues of traffic and having road improvements, I think, is critical for our residents to get around. It's going to impact you on Bailey. It's going to impact you on the Westney Road and in the village as well. So I think it's so important that we stuck to those negotiations. Unfortunately, the outcome is not what we had hoped. But Councillor's comments tonight are quite appropriate in that we did not walk away from the table. We were trying very, very hard to get what we needed for our residents. It also came, the MZO, again, as it has been stated, is a minister's zoning order. Doesn't go through a planning process, which is also a public process, which means the public doesn't have a say in what's happening anymore. And it's being used throughout the province. And it's unfortunate, you know, to speed up some of these planning development issues that are in the problem. It's unfortunate because I know the public is very interested in these issues. It's not a good thing. The MZO, like I said, would exacerbate the problem more, and you would not have a say in it. It was a complicated agreement with many parties, and I think in a way it's kind of a relief because I just couldn't see everybody being satisfied with what their concerns were. And it also came at the sacrifice, as Mayor Collier said, of the provincially significant wetland, which was part of the lower Duffins Creek wetland complex of 20 acres of wetland, actually. That's significant. And I think to override that through an MZO is something people here in Ajax would not appreciate. So again, thank you to staff for all the hard work that you've done to get us here, and I will support this motion. So Mr. Clerk, we have a request for recorded vote.
Thank you, Madam Chair. On the resolution before council, please state your position in favor or opposed. Mayor Collier.
In favor.
Councillor Bauer.
In favor?
Regional Councillor Crawford.
100% in favor.
Councillor Councillor Khan.
In favor.
Regional Councillor Lee.
In favor?
Councillor Tyler Morin.
In favor?
Regional Councillor Dyes.
In favor. Sorry for that. I was on mute. So it's back to you then, Mayor Collier.
Thank you, Councillor Dyes. Mr. Clerk, I'm pretty sure that passed unanimously. I need
Yes,
a mover and seconder for the confirming bylaw, please.
So moved.
Moved by Councillor Lee, second by Councillor Bauer. Bylaw number 43-2020 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the Council of the Corporation of the Town of Ajax at its special meeting held on October 22nd, 2020, be read a first, second, third time and passed. Those in favor?
In favor?
Carried. Thank you. And finally, the adjournment. I need a mover and seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Khan,
I'll second it.
second by
Tyler Moran.
Councillor Tyler Moran. At the October 22nd, 2020 special meeting of the Council of the Town of Ajax be adjourned. Those in favor?
In favor?
Any opposed? No, that's carried. Thank you, everyone. I do apologize for